Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and I know that I wasn't supposed to make a video today. So what happened? New ban list happened. One of my more informed viewers, Tony, let me know. And I do want to say that was Tony. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. If I'm right, heck yeah. Um, One of my more well-informed viewers pointed out that even though I keep going, I'm going to do the updates. I'm going to do the updates right after the ban list. The ban list is announced already for the end of September 2023. Because again, it came up something about, I think it was the Reflect Bounder video, literally like yesterday. And, the new ban list is coming out. So I got the old one. Still got my April 2023. I don't have printer ink because it's actually Saturday night when I'm filming this instead of Sunday because I wanted to make sure that you guys got this. So I wanted to make sure that I had a couple of times to kind of go over the material, pick the right takes, edit it all together if I had to. So this ban list has been going since, what does it say on here, April 22nd. The one-ofs were Jinzo Offerings, Reinforcement, Nightmare Wheel, Zoma, two-ofs, Cocoon of Ultra Evolution, Golden Ladybug, Parasite, Paranoid, Volcanic Shell, Allure, Foolish Burial, Union Hanger. Three-ofs were I'm Just Going to Attack, Twisted Personality, Cyber Angel, Benton, Breaker, Psydrag, DD Warrior Lady, Machine Angel, Ritual, Book of Moon, Cosmic Cyclone, Crystal Raigeki, Floodgate Trapple, and the Wall of Disruption. This is the assumption that I've been working on for let's see, this is September, that's 9, so like 5 months, close to half a year, right? And again, you guys want to find this ban list, all you gotta do is literally just Google September 20 or September 30th Speed Duel ban list, and you will get to the Yu-Gi-Oh blog, which will bring you to this. That said, we went ahead and we put together a bit of the listings. Now, I want to read this partially directly from the site, so let me grab my other phone that I don't use as the camera. And when we talk about my video titles and stuff, I don't want anybody to get it weird, okay? So this is Attention Speed Duelists. On the 30th, we will implement the updated events only limited list for Speed Duel public events being held at this event. However, that means we will be using this for any other events as well. The limited list is legal on the weekend of September 30th and at future Tier 3 events. They have changed the tier number for the events. It used to be Tier 2. As of the last ban list, they call them Tier 3. I think I'm going to drop the Tier 1, Tier 2 bits from my titles to stop confusing people. If it says casual, guys, I'm not using the ban list. If it don't say that, guess what? We're using the ban list, okay? I don't want to have that discussion again. We have it like every so many months. Everybody gets upset. So, that done, we got the list. And I decided that the best way to do the list would be to just pull the physical cards out of the collection since, again, we're working with a nearly complete collection here at this channel. So, first card. This went from the three-ofs to the one-of. If you're going to use Joey Wheeler's I'm Just Going to Attack, you can only use that. This will be your one-of. I don't know what's up with the camera focus right now. We're going to try to fix that as we go. But that is now to 1. It was at 3. Same thing is going to go with Merrick's Twisted Personality. Both of these are just, they're centralizing too much. They synergize with too many other cards. These two choices make so much sense. Next up, and I kind of get this one, is the Golden Ladybug. Again, this was previously on the 2s. It's now down to the singles. And it is what it is. Another card that stayed here would be the Offerings to the Doomed. And again, this quick play spell, it does a lot. It does so much. And again, the drawback, I'm skipping your next draw phase. Not that big of a drawback in Speed Duel. Another trap that actually made it from 3 to 1, along with our skill cards, is the Floodgate Trapple. Because again, moving forward, we will probably see more decks like Dark World, Dark World will have the ability at some point to be able to special summon more than one monster at a time uh, through discarding card effects. That said, cards like Floodgate Trap Hole will just be better. Plus, it is essentially Book of Moon that can't flip back up anyway, so it is already tougher than Book of Moon was. So this is kind of cool because if you wanted to, you could run one of these, and then you could run 3 Books of Moon. You could do some crazy strategy doing all that. I've already got the deck for it, so don't worry, you guys can have it. And then a couple of other standards that stayed here would be the Nightmare Wheel trap card in Zoma. And these are pretty self-explanatory as well. So if I slow myself down, we talk about the Nightmare Wheel, we're talking about a continuous trap that has essentially the same effect as the Spellbinding Circle, except your opponent's going to be taking damage every round. And Zoma, again, has the ability to just cost the game whenever. Now, you're going to notice 2 cards are no longer on this portion of the list. And those would be Jinzo and Reinforcement of the Army. So this is great news because they will be in the next portion. Guys, give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clear up the field real quick. After that, we'll be back with the 2s. All right, and we're back. So the 2-ofs list. 2-ofs list is going to have one thing that stays the same right at the beginning, because again, these lists tend to list the skills first. The Cocoon of Ultra Evolution is still our top pick here. And for like really good reason, because the double Ultimate Great Moth is just killer. And again, we can probably do like a new build for it, since we do have some new bugs. It will get better. Next up, our boy Jinzo. He made it off. He's sort of on probation right now. He's on the 2-ofs list. And this is really good because like if you were like a Jinzo Esperoba fan, we got like 2 new skills for that. Plus Joey uses him too. And it makes for some really great tech machines, especially with the addition of cards like Reflect Bounder. So again, it makes it just a little more accessible to a lot more players. And again, this is sort of going to put traps in check, but not always. So it is still going to stagger and vary the gameplay a little bit. Next card will be the Parasite Paranoid. Parasite Paranoid was already on the 2s. And you know what? I don't mind it staying here as long as it stays with the Cocoon. Because together, if they were unlimited, if you could have 2 of this and even 1 of this, that would still be just a smidge too much power for the Moth. And we do need to keep that in check because that's some real beating power. But it is what it is. Next up is a card that was already here, the Volcanic Shell. If you guys have played Volcanics, you kind of understand why this needs to be here. If you don't, just look up some of the deck profiles. I promise you guys will figure it out. You guys are all smart. Next up, another older card for this portion of the list, the Allure of Darkness. And again, I don't mind it staying here. I do like the fact that you can't mix and match it with Jinzo right now. Previously, like last list, it was 1 Jinzo at 1. Allure could be at 2. You were able to do maybe like a little more Pseudo Monarch control with that. Putting them in the same limitations. If you're going to mix and match them, it's going to be a 1 and 1, or it's 2 and none, one way or the other. So again, it does feel like it's a good balancing point. Another 2 that came back is the Foolish Burial. Still pretty happy with this. I think Foolish Burial is just, again, this is like one of those cards where like this is just like one of the best spots for it. And the Machine Angel Ritual. Now, this was at 3 last list. Of course, we went over the list here at the beginning. As the Machine Angels are getting more and more play, we're always going to have meta play because this is still a very legitimate format, and competitive players are going to be competitive. And the Machine Angels, again, are a really cool tech-based build, and this really does help foster like a better meta by limiting this one down just one step further. Because again, Ben 10 was at 3, this was at 3. Now you have 2 rituals. Rituals are a little easier to find, I think. And I think Ben 10 stayed at 3. Give me 2 seconds. She did. So that is good. And then last up, again, this is really going to help, especially with Gearfried being a big deal right now. captain, joining the fight, Command Knight being in here. Like, Tech Warriors never looked better than it has this format. We get 2 copies of Reinforcement of the Army. Mokuba, I know especially you're going to love this because this means even more searching in a more like competitive format for your elemental heroes as well. So like all the warrior decks get to rejoice in this moment. So if you were a fan of any type of warrior strategy, anything that was anything toolbox really, this is going to be big. This is it for the 2-ofs. You guys will notice that there was one missing from the last time. We will cover that before the end of this. So just another second. I'm going to go ahead and clear this off. Let's talk about the 3 list. All right. So we got that cleaned up. We're getting on to the 3s. What can we expect from the 3s? Obviously, we've had some skills move up to 1. We had a couple cards just drop out entirely. First one I think we need to talk about is Breaker. Now, there hasn't been a better format for Breaker than right now, I don't think. And especially the way Ultimate Wizardry is going to play. You guys will see more of that throughout the tournament this upcoming week. And depending on release schedule for that structure deck that's coming up, it may exaggerate into next week as well. But there are a lot of Breaker plays that can be made, so I don't mind seeing Breaker here, personally. But again, I think eventually he's going to have to get promoted to like the 2s, especially with everything that's going on right now as far as new card release. Cyber Angel Benton, again, like I said, she remained on the 3s. And now that she's no longer sharing the same slot as the ritual spell, the Machine Angel Ritual, I do think that gets a bit more of a competitive edge. And again, we're going to see some competitive players really take to the ritual side of things and just doing some crazy fun stuff. So this is good, in my opinion. Next up, we've got Cyber Dragon. And again, Cyber Dragon makes sense. It's a free summon. There's a ton of tech things that you could do with this thing. And it does break open like a lot of strategies. But again, it was already here. Same thing with DD Warrior Lady. And again, this gets even more accessible with the double Reinforcement of the Army. So I don't feel so much as though I need to run 2 of this now. I could just as easily run 1 of this, a couple captains, run my double Reinforcement of the Army, maybe put in an Exiled Force in there, go Captain Exile Force, Trib, Sack, whatever. Detonate on, start clearing field, and making my progress that way as well. So, like, again, it gives us different avenues to approach our opponents. And again, DD Warrior Lady, like, she was already on this portion of the list. She's still here. Nothing really changed. It's just another day at the office for some of these cards, most of these cards. Next up, you guys know these 2, Book of Moon and Cosmic Cyclone. I don't know where I would be without these 2 spells because they do a lot of heavy lifting in a lot of my builds. I do like to play a lot of things that are just considered tech, and for me, this works. And then last up, we still have the Wall of Disruption in this portion of the deck list. Just carrying up the last of the 3-ofs, and this is fine. Again, this is probably the shortest 3-ofs we've had since the beginning. And again, this is good because cards are either finding their home in a tighter limitation, or they've been dropping out, which is something we need to talk about because this is like, I think this is the first time we have seen cards removed from the list, added back to general population. So like the first one is one that used to be on the 2-ofs, Union Hanger. So Union Hanger is totally off of any type of restriction, just the normal. You can run up to 3 of it in your deck. And this is great for the people playing the X, Y, and Z. And I suppose you play VW as well. But X, Y, and Z is probably the best version to play this. And again, of course, you can have your Union Scramble Trap card to go along with it. Super awesome. And then Crystal Raigeki was on the 3-ofs list, is now just allowed to be up to 3. So a little less restriction on our Crystal Beast friends. So this is all, fine and well. But this isn't the only thing we have to talk about. This is just the ban list that we're going to be using moving forward. And so it's good to know because obviously we need to play within said restrictions in order to send you guys to your tournaments, so this way you guys can have the best time ever. Now, I was asked to touch on something else, and I figured this video could pull a bit of a double duty. This is bothering me. Let me just scooch that over a little bit, and let's talk about some updated erratas for the new Tournament Pack 6. So, they said that they're going to give us 4 of these that are going to be skills that are going to just be updated. And one of them is one of the original game breakers, was Dragon Caller. So the original text for this was, once per duel, use one of the following. If you successfully normal summon Lord of Dragons, add Flute of Summoning from deck to hand, or deck or grave to hand. Or you could reveal a Flute of Summoning from hand to add 1 Lord of Dragons from deck or graveyard to hand. The errata. Once per duel during the main phase, activate one of the following. So far, so good. If you control Lord of D, add Flute of Summoning from deck or grave to hand, or reveal and still add. This is good. This is not a bad update. In fact, what this is doing is actually making this more relevant. You can do this a turn after you've played your Lord of Dragons. So let's say you started with Lord of D and you started with a Flute of Summoning and you didn't feel the need to add another copy from your deck to your hand. And then you go ahead and you activate the one from your hand. If you then want to, a turn later, you can do that. It makes it so there's less chance of like missing timing. And it goes from that normal summon to just control. So again, I feel like this is a quality of life adjustment for us, the Duelist. I see no issue with Dragon Caller. Let's move on. We've got Catch of the Day. So Mako Tsunami. If you control the legendary fisherman, you may activate Umi directly from the deck or graveyard, used once per duel. Once per turn, the legendary fisherman you control destroys a monster by battle or inflicts damage to the opponent. Special summon 1 level 4 or lower water from deck or grave in defense. This is the original text. Our update. Once per duel if you control. So again, that's fine. Now it's once per duel for this. Instead of saying this skill can only be used once per duel, all they're doing is rewording that first part. If you control the fisherman, you may activate the Umi from the deck or grave. Same effect. Once per turn at the end of your battle phase, as opposed to once per turn when he destroys. Okay, so at the end of the battle phase can matter. And this will be when you get to special summon. And it is if you control, destroyed a monster by battle, or inflicted damage to the opponent this turn. So same effect. Now we're just changing the timing. And again, I don't see an issue with this one. Again, the text is just slightly easier to read. Because we're starting with once per duel rather than saying that at the end of the effect, which could lead to some people just misreading it entirely, which would definitely happen to me. And then again, by saying, once per turn at the end of the battle phase, you could do the summoning. Again, that's fine too. It's not like you're summoning him in attack mode, but the difference is... if we were to use some trap cards like, let me say, Final Attack Orders or Zero Gravity, there is a chance that we could use the additionally summoned cards to press for extra damage by making it at the end of the battles phase. The way the new update is, it's going to work more or less the way they originally intended it to. And again, it's not that we're getting those monsters to be more aggressive. We're getting those monsters to be more defensive and doing some board building. So that's not too bad. I'm going to take a sip while I go ahead and bring this up to my. All right. So the original text on No More Mrs. Nice My was once per turn when a monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, destroy a spell or trap on the field. The updated text, once per turn at the end of the battle phase, a monster you control that inflicted can destroy that spell or trap. Again, This isn't bad. It just stops you from trying to eliminate things too aggressively. And it's a good attempt at making the card more fair, making it so that you're not gaining an unnecessary advantage. I mean, a skill card's already an advantage in a duel that we already didn't have. And so it makes sense that Konami has to take time to do these erratas. Because again, sometimes these skills are just going to be too aggressive. And this is one of them. And I like that there's going to be something for I'm just going to attack. Because again, this is a skill I've used so much. And with it going to 1, this may be part of the reason as well. So the original text, during the main phase, you can make one monster you control gain 100 attack until the end of the turn. And additionally, during the battle phase, when your opponent activates a trap card, you can negate its effect and set that card. Each skill is once per turn. So, once per duel during your main phase, you can make one monster you control gain 100 attack until the end of the turn. Also, during the battle phase this turn, negate your opponent's first trap card or effect that resolves and set it instead of sending to the graveyard. Now, the way this one works, once per duel. Okay, I don't mind the 100-point bump going to once per duel, but part of the brilliance of this skill, and again, the reason why this skill would be like so crazy, this is one big run-on sentence. Also during the battle phase this turn, so the turn that you activate the skill, that you're going to activate this skill once in a duel. Once a duel, you get an extra 100 points, and also during that turn, regardless of whether or not your opponent even has a back row, their first trap card or effect that resolves would then set. And again, when they say that, it's not like they try to resolve a monster's effect. You're not flipping the monster. We're talking like continuous trap cards, things like, I don't know, Robin Goblin, insert any trap here. Those kind of things would get reset. This one's going to be a little more controversial, guys. Honestly, it's not going to be as tech goodness as it was. And seeing this and knowing that this card is going to 1 at the same time right now, I am not so sure that I'm in love with it. But you know what? I'm not totally against it. You know, I did kind of rely on this card as a crutch a lot of times, and I was like, man, I got a good base for the deck, but like I'm just not sure what skill to use. I think this is going to leave us doing things a lot less like it's a cookie cutter. So we're not just building a deck and going, oh, well, you know what? I didn't think to put a skill in. Let me just grab one. And since we've gotten 20 skills or so per set, and we've had like 3 big major sets. We had the Battle City, we had the GX1, we had the GX3, and we had this, I guess that's 4. That's already like 80 skill cards right there. Plus, I think there was like 10 or something in the midterms. Plus, any of the skills were from the original decks. I'd say we're pretty good on skills. I don't think we've got to just use I'm just going to attack as like some sort of like blanket answer. But to be fair, it always was, wasn't it? So even though it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit to see the change on that one, I'm going to get over it, guys. You guys let me know if there's anything else that you guys want to see. The one additional note, I don't know if you guys, if it was on screen long enough for you to notice, the 5th skill that they were talking about was actually going to be the Power Bond skill. Now in the main pack that it came out of, which again, I think it was like the midterms box or something, it's got Cyrus on it. Now, Zane Truesdale also used it during the tournament pack. This skill card, it'll be the first skill card with an alternate art, is going to have Zane Truesdale on it. So I might just have to go and see about going and getting me a single copy of this. It's probably going to be like $15 for no reason outside of alternate art. But I'm a collector, so I'm going to collect it. Again, Tony, thank you for telling me that, this ban list was out. This works out well. After this next week or so, we will be done with the 3 times tournament for the Streets of Battle City. And everything's shaping up to just be on track. So as soon as we start making decks again, and again, we'll be about a week before the ban list is legal, we are going to be building with that ban list in mind. So just know that that week, yeah, sure, if you go to a tournament, you're playing by rules that are the old April 2023 rules, and we are already going to be building for the September 2023, essentially October 2023 ban list. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you have, do the stuff, okay? Support the channel a little bit, like, comment, subscribe. 3 easy things that you guys can do, and it's going to help out more than you'll ever know. Plus, we are so grateful for every time we see the numbers go up. We see more people watching. We get excited when we see new names in the comments section. We get super excited when we see the familiar names in the comments section. You guys know who you are. You guys are like the frequent comment, or the I'm going to come up with something for that. It's going to be like the comment club. But like, we know who you are, and like, honestly, we get super excited when we see certain names. Adam, Kami, Tony. You guys know who you are. We see your name down there all the time. It always makes us smile, and it makes my days better when I get to see that, okay? So seriously, sad face, and oh, there's another one. I'm gonna remember it as soon as I get off here. But like, seriously, guys, I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have, do the things. Enjoy your day. Get ready for a week or more of this tournament, depending on that structure deck's release. And see you next time, guys. Later.